Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Berg, and I'm going to show you my physical Call of Duty collection today. I own over 100 different Call of Duty games so far in my collection, including some of the most obscure variants that you've probably ever seen or have never even heard of. I started collecting at the beginning of 2025 with the goal in mind to collect every Call of Duty ever, until I realized there was way too many, probably 500 or 600 when you include all of the variants. So I started just getting ones that I thought were obscure enough or different, and I'm really happy with my collection so far. I'm gonna go in chronological order as the video goes on because the early days of Call of Duty are the most unique with the weirdest stuff going on. The more modern releases are pretty straightforward, but the early days of COD, that's when the coolest stuff is happening. At the end of the video, I will show you all of my combo box sets that I own, plus the Steelbook collection that I have amassed so far, including a couple of the more rare Steelbooks that are out there. So I'm going to start in chronological order, as I said, starting off with Call of Duty. It came just like this in this PC case, nothing special going on. It never released on any console or anything. Couple discs there. You want to steal my code, you can steal my code there. But there's the original Call of Duty, and then I also own it for the Mac. The only difference is that Mac symbol right there. Aspire Media ported it onto the Mac 1 year later, so I own that as well. And then I also own United Offensive, which was the DLC pack. Of course, you couldn't go download the DLC back then. You had to get the DLC in a case like this. So I own the DLC pack for the PC and, of course, the Mac. And then I also happen to own a few more variants of this game. Again, weird stuff going on in the early days. This one's not so weird. Game of the Year edition came in this big old box. You can see the box isn't in the best condition. This one for me is fine. I don't care if it's been, a little used like this. The corners are dinged up and such. If it's run over by a truck condition, that's when I'm not buying it. But this one, I'm perfectly okay with how that condition is. I also own three more variants that are super weird. This one, La Grande Offensiva, pardon my pronunciation. You can see the title completely changes there. This is the Spanish version of the United Offensive expansion pack, and it completely changes the title. You'll see throughout the video I own a couple games that completely change the title, and that's what's cool about it. Back case is also completely different, so I own that version. That's pretty cool to own. And then the two that are probably the most unique in my entire collection. This looks fake, and I don't blame you if you think it's fake, but these are official Call of Duty titles that released. Green Pepper Entertainment here is a German brand that releases old PC games years after they released at a discounted price. So, of course, maybe Steam was around back then, but I don't know. And yeah, it comes in this crazy ass case. Green Pepper Entertainment, old Call of Duty games. Only two that ever released under this brand, but super unique. I'm very happy to have found them and got them in my collection. Also, with the original Call of Duty, when I got this one in the mail, it was actually just a freebie thrown on, and I thought it was a fake game because when you look at the disc, it says Call of Duty, Freedom Fighters, NHL 2004, Homeworld 2, and I was like, what in the world is this? Just some fake knockoff game. Until I did a little more research. I looked at the actual game. Computer Gaming World. This is a freebie thrown in when you ordered the magazine Computer World back in the day. And yeah, so this is basically a demo disc of the original Call of Duty, which is really cool to own. I didn't even think about demo discs when I started collecting, and of course now I got to get them all, but this is the only one I currently own. Next up, you would think is Call of Duty 2, but actually it's Call of Duty for the Nokia N-Gage. If you've ever seen gameplay of this one, it's insane to look at. It doesn't even feel like Call of Duty, but indeed, in fact, it is Call of Duty. There's a little cartridge right there, but this one, pretty rare. I don't think people know that this released on this console, but Call of Duty for the Nokia N-Gage came out in 2004, so that's the next one in chronological order there. Next up is still not Call of Duty 2. It's actually Call of Duty's first console release ever. It's Call of Duty Finest Hour. I own it here for the PS2 as well as for the original Xbox, as well as one of the few games Call of Duty released under the Nintendo GameCube. Again, here's a little part of my collection. I don't mind too much. I tried to get that sticker off, but I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, they did release games on the GameCube, so that's pretty cool. And I own two more very unique variants of this one. Again, I don't even want to try to pronounce it, but this is the Italian version of the game. Pretty unique title there, completely altering the finest hour text there. So happy to have that one in the collection as well. And then I also own this one, which is the French version, Les Jours de Gloire. Again, pronunciation, but very happy to own both of these in my collection. Again, this is what I'm collecting for, this very obscure variants. Just cool to see the different title there on the game. Next up is Call of Duty 2, and I own it here in this big old chunky case here. A ton of discs come in this one. I don't even know how many discs, but so a little ad there. But Call of Duty 2 for the PC in this big chunky case. I also own it here for the Mac. Not quite as big of a case, but still a chunky one there. Again, Spire Media porting it onto the Mac. I also own it here for the Xbox 360. This was how I'm saying the weird stuff is going on in the early days of Call of Duty, because this game released on the Xbox 360, but it didn't actually release on the original Xbox. This is when the 360 and the PS3 were considered the new gen, and they were starting to release games on this one, but they still released old games on the old gen consoles, such as the spin-off Call of Duty Big Red 1. So you see Call of Duty 2 is released on the Xbox 360, but not actually on the original Xbox. This is the spin-off version, Big Red 1, for the original Xbox. And you can also see it was released here on the PlayStation 2 as well. And it also got released for the GameCube. It did not release on the PS3 for whatever reason, but we did get the PS2 Big Red 1 and then Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 on the GameCube. Next up is Call of Duty 3. We have it here for the original Xbox. Again, I don't know why they released it on the Xbox, but it also ended up releasing on the Xbox 360 as well as it released on the PlayStation 2 and on the PlayStation 3. And then I do own one obscure variant of this one. This was the first unique title one that I got. These stickers are just on this little bag here, thankfully. But Call of Duty 3 on Marche vers Paris. Again, pronunciation, sorry, but this was the first one I noticed that changed the title of some of these early CODs, and I had to jump and get this one. So yeah, this is the French version. I believe it actually changes part of the campaign when you're marching towards Paris. I think they actually changed it a little bit in this version because the French weren't too happy, but very happy to own this one in my collection. I also forgot Call of Duty 3 actually released on the Wii as well, which is crazy. This is the first game they released on the Wii for the Call of Duty franchise. Next up would be Call of Duty Roads to Victory. This is 2007 for the PSP. Pretty cool to have this one in the collection as well. Of course, you can see the visual. It's not as big as the other cases. The PSP games are a bit more up and down, but Roads to Victory for the PSP. And I do own two versions of this one in different languages. Here's the platinum version of Les Chemins de Victory. This is the French version, and it's the platinum version. I wish I kind of owned it not in platinum, but French version of Road to Victory. You see the stark difference in the sides of the games there. They kind of gave up, I guess, in France on that side, but that's the French version of Roads to Victory. And then I also own it here in Italian, Le Strada per la Vittoria. There, some of these games have these weird gold sticker on them. I don't know what the deal with that is, but you saw it there on one of the finest hour versions as well. But here it is, though, Roads to Victory in English, French, and Italian, and you can see the difference there. That's why I like collecting. Seriously, I mean, it's all different right here. It's pretty cool to see. Next up is finally to the mainline Call of Duties here, Call of Duty 4. Here it is on the PC. I own it in a nice big box set. I'll open it up, I guess, for you guys. It has its own little bejeweled case in there, in this unique little box with the manual and all that stuff going on. But yeah, Call of Duty 4 for the PC there. I also own it sealed, actually, for the Mac. This is my first sealed one that I own. Call of Duty 4 for the Mac. Here it is for the PS3. This is actually my version that I've owned since the dawn of time. Thankfully, still has the manual in there, but Game of the Year edition, PS3. I also own it here for the Xbox 360, as well as the two Nintendo releases. Here it is for the Nintendo Wii. It's called the Reflex Edition on this version for whatever reason. And then the first game they released on the Nintendo DS, Call of Duty 4 as well. There it is in all its glory. Next up is Call of Duty World at War, my favorite in the franchise by far. Here it is for the PC. It actually says for Windows there, but this is the PC version of World at War. It actually never got ported onto the Mac for whatever reason. I guess they gave up on the Mac at this point, although later you will see different Mac versions. But here it is on the PS3. Once again, my version that I've owned since the dawn of time. This one, I didn't even realize it's probably in my PS3 right now, but World at War for the PS3. Here it is for the Xbox 360 as well. Once again, the one that I've owned for forever. One of the first games, I'm actually missing the manual, so I'll have to purchase that at some point. But most of these are all complete in box. Here it is for the Wii. I actually owned this one a long time ago as well, but I never played it as much. I didn't even realize this one's missing the manual as well. But Call of Duty World at War for the Wii. And then one more version here. This one is where they, for some reason, went back to PS2. Have no idea why. Weird stuff going on in the early days. Even though this is Call of Duty 5 at this point, they're still doing weird stuff. So Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts, it only released on the PS2. It didn't release on the old gen Xbox or anything. So World at War Final Fronts, it is a completely different game than normal World at War, although it is somewhat similar, but it is completely different. And I own it here for the PS2. And here it is also for the Nintendo DS. Again, I'd be forgetting I even own some of these, but Call of Duty World at War for the DS. Next up is what some people's favorite Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Here it is for the PC. I actually own the PAL version, so the one released in Europe. I don't actually own a North American version, but I also own it for the PS3. Again, my copy I've owned for forever. I own like 4 copies of this game because they always got scratched. Here it is for the Xbox 360 as well, and the mobilized Nintendo DS version as well. For whatever reason, they never released a version on the Wii, even though we see a later version of Call of Duty released on the Wii. I also have one more here that I simply didn't know this existed. I didn't know this existed for months, even after collecting, but randomly I saw it pop up and I realized it was a thing. Modern Warfare 2 Resurgence Pack. I think this is the first DLC. Maybe it's the second DLC. I can't remember at this moment actually, but here, you know, Carnival, Trailer Park, Fuel, Vacant, and Strike in there as well. And this one is sealed, as you can see. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Resurgence Pack for the PC there. Next up is Call of Duty Black Ops. Here it is for the PC. Really like the way this case looks for whatever reason. Just super black. Love the way that it looks. Call of Duty for the PC there. And then I also own it for the Mac. Once again, it's a sealed version. I guess nobody was buying it on the Mac once you get to this point. First Strike content pack included. That's pretty dope. Big old Mac seal there. I believe this was the last game they ever ported onto the Mac at this point. So yeah, I do own it that way. Here it is on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 and the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS. Next up is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, probably my second game ever in the franchise. Here it is on the PC. No Mac version for this one, so we do have it here on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, as well as the Nintendo Wii and the Defiance Nintendo DS version. Next up is Black Ops 2, and we're still seeing weird releases for this one. Here it is on the PC, as well as the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and this is where they gave up on the Wii and they moved over to the Nintendo Wii U, which got the BO2 release. No more Call of Duty on the DS anymore. They're over to the Wii U for a couple of years at this point. But yeah, that's all the consoles that BO2 released on. At this point, after BO2, or around the same time as BO2, they also released the PS Vita version, Black Ops Declassified. I believe this was actually on BO2 release day. I think I saw that somewhere recently, but this was like a mix of BO1 and BO2, mainly BO1, I'm pretty sure, but they had both maps on there, I believe. I never actually have played this one, but here's, you also see a little pamphlet there for Roads to Victory, so that's cool. Bonus download there. Look at that tiny little game. But yeah, here it is for Declassified on the PS Vita. Next up is everybody's favorite Call of Duty Ghost, a game I actually don't mind too much. Call of Duty Ghost here for the PC. I believe there's like a ton of discs in here. It feels pretty heavy. Maybe 4 or 5 discs in there, but Call of Duty Ghost for the PC. They also released it on the Nintendo Wii U. This was the last one we saw on anything other than PlayStation or Xbox, or the PC, of course. Here it is on the Xbox 360 and on the PS3. Now, this is where my collection starts to get not so full because I don't own it for the Xbox One, and I don't actually own those versions yet. So at this point in my collection, you'll start to see it get a bit more thin, but I still do own some games here and there. Next up is Advanced Warfare. It did release on the PC, but I don't currently own it. I do, however, have it for the PS3. Once again, my version, Day Zero Edition. I wish it didn't say that. I want all the default games, not the Day Zero Edition or anything like that. But here it is on the Xbox 360. And also on the Xbox One. I do technically also own it for the PS4, which I believe is actually in my disc PS5 right now. I was playing it just the other day, but I don't own a case for that PS4 version. Next up is Black Ops 3, which once again had a PC release, believe it or not. I don't currently own it. I do, however, have it for the PlayStation 3, which is, if you've ever seen that gameplay, it's crazy to look at as well. Here it is for the Xbox 360 as well. And the only other one I own, my copy on the PS4. I don't have the Xbox One version either, but I do own these 3 versions. Next up would be Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Again, I don't own all of these versions. I don't own it for the PS4. I also don't own any standalone Modern Warfare remasters, whether it's for the PS4 or the Xbox One. But I do, however, in fact, own a sealed Infinite Warfare for the PC. Why are they releasing it on PC at this point? I have no idea, but I do have a sealed version. Clearly somebody got this as a present and never unwrapped it, because why the hell would you? Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is actually a good game, but for the PC, I don't know why they would do that. I also own, well, actually, I'll show you this one first. Here it is for the Xbox One, and then I do have a I have MWR here for the Legacy Edition on the Xbox One. I'm not sure what this Turtle Beach sticker is doing here. I don't know if it was sold like this or what. This copy is kind of in beat up condition nonetheless, but Infinite Warfare and MWR for the Xbox One. Again, I don't own it on the PS4. Next up is Call of Duty World War II. I do own every version for this game. Here it is on the PC as well, but this one, I think they finally gave up on the disc here. It's download only, so when you open it up, it's a fake little plastic disc, which is super weird to see. But Call of Duty World War II for the PC. I also own it here for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Of course, at this point, they stopped releasing it on the 360 and the old gen consoles. So this is every version of World War II right here. I own all of them. Next up is Black Ops 4, a game I also quite really like, but I only own one version of it as it stands. I don't own it for the PC, which I have seen out there as well, and for the PS4, I don't own that one as well, but here it is on the Xbox One. Next up is Modern Warfare 19, my least favorite Call of Duty of all time. This entire game ruined the franchise as we know it, I believe, but here it is for the PS4 and for the Xbox One. And I also have one more weird version. This is actually Warzone. I've never actually played a game of Warzone in my life. Call me not a true Call of Duty fan, but this is a weird skin that you can get, I guess, Gilded Age 3 Pro Pack for Call of Duty Warzone. I can't believe this is a real release. I think there's just like a code, a voucher inside, but I'm not taking it out of this shrink wrap. It actually, to be honest, this shrink wrap looks like it could be resealed. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It looks pretty shitty, or maybe it's just been beat up over the years. But yeah, Warzone for the PS4, pretty cool game that I have here in the collection. Next up is Cold War, which I own here on the Xbox One and on the PS5. However, it does have a PS4 version as well. I don't own the PS4 version yet. Call of Duty Vanguard is up next. I only own it for the Xbox One. Again, it does have a PS4 and PS5 version, but I only own it for the Xbox One. Modern Warfare 2022, technically I do own it, but as you can see, it is disc only here. But yeah, I don't actually own the case and the box art for any of that, unfortunately. Modern Warfare 2023 does have a PS4 and an Xbox One/Series X release, but the only one that I own is for the PS5. I didn't own this game for the longest time, but now I do own it. I play it actually quite a bit still. And finally, last but not least, the final one that I own, Black Ops 6 for the PS5. I do not own it for the PS4 or the Xbox One/Series X, but I do own it for the PS5. Quite enjoyed this game as well, but I don't own Black Ops 7, and that's it for the mainline Call of Duty games. A few more that I skipped over as the video went on. I actually own a couple of Japanese copies here for the PlayStation. This is a little side collection that I'm going if I see it for a good price. Black Ops 3 Japanese for the PS3. Crazy pull that I have there. Call of Duty Ghost, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops, the original Black Ops 1. All the Japanese copies. I love that these copies have like the extra text underneath the mainline title there. So few that I skipped over there, but cool that I have in the collection. Oh yeah, and they have the cool little red. This one's orange for what game is this? Is BO3? No, Ghost for whatever reason is orange there on the side, but I like how these stand out when you put them all next to each other on the shelf. Now that we are at the end of the video, I'm going to show you all my Steelbooks, but first I also want to show you the box combos that I own. The early days of Call of Duty, they were releasing these combo sets, not so much anymore. There are a couple that I'm missing. There's one called a deluxe combo pack and the trilogy combo pack, which I think was only released in Europe, but I do own a bunch of different versions here. Let's start off with this one. I just got this one recently for Christmas, actually. Call of Duty, the War Collection. It comes with Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, and World at War. It only released on the 360, but pretty cool version to own here. We also have Call of Duty Legacy Edition here. Comes with Finest Hour and Big Red 1, and I own it here on the PS2. Call of Duty War Chest. This one is quite expensive, actually, if you go look at the prices. I got it for a decent price. Comes with the original Call of Duty United Offensive, and Call of Duty 2. But this one I'm very happy to have in the collection, including the box, which is in decent condition compared to how most come online. But yeah, pretty happy to have this one in the collection. You also have the Call of Duty Modern Warfare trilogy, so COD 4, MW2, MW3 in there as well. I own it for the PS3. I think it might have a Xbox release, but I'm not too sure about that. I didn't even realize until right now. Stimulus pack included, so that's cool. I also have the Black Ops collection, so we have BO1, BO2, BO3 for the PS3. This one is open on the side. I guess so is the MW trilogy here, but they're backwards at the moment. But yeah, this one actually I'll take this one out because it's 2 discs only. If I can get it out, it's actually only 2 discs, but they have the PS3 combo pack of Black Ops and BO2. This one comes in its own. I'm pretty satisfied in my collection not owning a second copy of this one, rather it just being in this trilogy pack here. And one more that is just super duper weird. I believe this was a Walmart exclusive, Call of Duty World War II and Infinite Warfare combo pack. I don't know who the hell is buying this except for me, but yeah, Walmart exclusive World War II Infinite Warfare combo pack. Pretty weird stuff, but glad to have it in the collection. And finally, last but not least, let's go over the Steelbooks I own. I own 2 of the more rare Steelbooks that exist out there, including the all-beloved Call of Duty 4. You can see it. Actually, I own these little cases for it. It doesn't even fit in the case. This one is extra special to me because a friend who I met on Call of Duty I've known for many, many years, he actually purchased this one for me. It was a Amazon Germany exclusive, I believe, or maybe Amazon Netherlands exclusive, but I couldn't get it here in the States. Thankfully, my friend lives in the Netherlands. He bought this for me and sent it to me. So Call of Duty 4 Steelbook, super cool to see. You can actually see it's a bit broken because it got broken in the mail. I don't care though. I own probably the most rare Steelbook that exists out there, Call of Duty 4 Steelbook. I also own the World at War Steelbook here on the PS3. This was also a European exclusive. You can see the 15 tag there for I guess that's the age limit. You have to be in Europe to play this. But another super rare one is a Europe exclusive, so you don't see them floating around here in North America a lot. But World at War, favorite one that I own for sure, besides the Call of Duty 4, just because it's my favorite Call of Duty. I also have the MW2 Steelbook. This came with the PS3 because it also came in this extra special case, and this one is actually cool because it has the little book included in there as well. You can kind of flip through the book and see all the campaign missions and stuff like that, but I own this little book as well. And actually, if I take it out of the case here, there's even one more added little detail that I'm happy to have. Here it is, Call of Duty Classic full game download. This was the original Call of Duty. They released it as Call of Duty Classic on the PS3, and you could download it for free and play the old game. But technically, not a Call of Duty that I need to own, but it's cool to at least have the pamphlet and say, yeah, I own it. I could download it if I wanted. Although this person who I bought it from probably already downloaded it. So I currently don't own the BO1 or Modern Warfare 3 Steelbook either. However, I do own the Black Ops 2 Steelbook. I just got this one again for Christmas the other day, a little present to myself. Black Ops 2 Steelbook, pretty cool one to see there. You can't see it in all its glory because of the one, shine on my computer, and two, a little case, but there it is for BO2. I also own the Ghost Steelbook, which, oops, so I dropped it, but it's a little bit bigger than the case. For whatever reason, it's slightly bigger than some of the other Steelbooks. I don't know why. You can see the little gap there on the top, but here it is, Ghost. Let's see, which version is this one? It's actually Xbox 360 version, couple of discs in there, but yeah, I really like this Steelbook. Nice condition as well. Looks pretty cool. I do own the Advanced Warfare Steelbook as well. Again, it pops out of the case, super annoying. I'm going to have to fix that at some point so I can get proper size and casing, but this one actually looks pretty sick as well. This is the Xbox 360 version because it came with this extra little case, and there is more inside. There's a little book inside here that, again, it shows some of the campaign and multiplayer and stuff like that. Never really fully looked through this, to be honest, but yeah, nonetheless, it's still nice to own that little book there. I also have the Black Ops 3 version. I think there's two versions of the BO3 Steelbook. At certain points, they release some through Amazon, and overseas, there's different versions of Steelbooks that exist out there that are a bit more rare and will take me a long time to find, but here's a BO3 version that I own right now. I also own the Infinite Warfare Steelbook. I believe this is the PS4 version. I'm not going to take it out of the case, but MWR on the back there, Infinite Warfare on the front. This is another example of one that released differently. This is the World War II Steelbook, has a scene from D-Day on it. Pretty cool. There is a more plain version that I'm looking to try to get. I believe it released in maybe Canada and also Australia, that has the main guy on the front cover with just the World War II text on the back. But this is the North American release. Like this Steelbook a lot. Modern Warfare 2019. Might be a little hard to see because it's black, but yeah, pretty cool Steelbook there. And the last one, the very last thing that I own, Modern Warfare 2023 Steelbook. I like the way this one looks a lot. It looks a bit like rusted and has these guys on the cover back here. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. That's my full collection as it stands at the end of 2025. Thank you again. Goodbye.